The Fantasy Futurist. Copyright M. Margot Wakefield, 2019. Cast of characters: Charles, fair skin, African American or multiracial, in mid-20s, is less mature than the others. Dennis, late 20s or early 30s, is half Cuban, half Italian, and a bit bashful. Faith, a West African native, is in her late 30s with a meticulous sense of detail and professionalism. Felicity, late 20s, has one Jewish parent, is half Philippine, energetic and athletic. Josie, 30ish, tall and curly, red-headed, freckled, and has an overbearing personality. Raymond, early 40s, African-Canadian, business-minded, and considers himself to be culturally refined. Seth, 30ish, tall, slender man of blue eyes and blonde hair, and an introvert-extrovert mix. The guest and the agent. Guest is not gender-specific. The agent is a nondescript man. A play in 4 acts. The White People of Asarima. 2. Future Salmon. 3. Notacode, or The Idiotology of Fantasy Futuring. First act, The White People of Asarima. House lights go down. Enter Josie and Felicity. Under spotlight portraying audience members, they take their reserved seats, improvising conversation that's not necessarily and completely audible. Lights come up on Raymond and Charles on stage. The set appears in black box with lab tables, chairs, and a high-tech chamber. Raymond is tapping on an iPad.
So, are you at least halfway back to normal yet?
Charles, ask me how I feel. Hey, you kept making jokes how I look like Trevor Noah, but sound like Don Lemon. I must be having a nervous breakdown.
Nobody cares about that. In your case, what is normal? What about the transport unit? Do you remember the setting?
Setting? Yeah, right. Not a dream. Well, okay, I don't understand anything that's going on.
Look, Charlie.
Charles.
What's that?
It's Charles.
Whatever. You people, I swear.
Raymond is interrupted by Dennis. Dennis enters. Hey, Raymond, how is Revelug doing? Dennis sits next to Charles. Are you okay? Who's Revelug? Oh, Gulliver. That game you all play. Game? Charles, tell us how. Dennis is interrupted by Seth. Seth enters. Who's ready for some white culture? Some white culture fest? Who's game? You can come too, Ray, if you want. Bring Charles. That should perk him up a bit.
Not my thing.
Right. Told ya.
What?
Oh, elbow shrink, please.
That's undignified.
What's undignified is ignoring your own culture.
And what culture is that?
Oh, elbow shrink, please. Seth is interrupted by Faith. Faith enters to Raymond.
Faith, I've been trying to find the recent most settings, but these party animals here are more...
Faith interrupts Raymond. This has nothing to do with settings, Raymond. You should know that by now. Seth, there is something I want you to help you with. Go right outside. It's on the left. Remember?
Your wish is my command.
Seth exits.
Oh yeah, right.
And Charles, you found a clever way to express some socio-political barbs, some of which were cute, by putting on this act of amnesia. Yes, I did indeed figure out what you were talking about. The neanoretinum.
But did you figure out this crazy riddle about how Ray and I are alike but different? Because he did, I didn't, and we are like neanoretinum, and we are just the opposite or something. Charles, did you get hit on the head in the unit?
Stop. You guys, I did not say anything about Neanderthals. I didn't call anybody a Neanderthal.
Ah, Latrinian.
What? Neanderthal.
You must be really good at this, 'cause I don't get it. Come on, Charles, give it up. Who else is in on it?
Look, just think the opposite and in reverse, and both or both.
That's the key to his opmum?
Aha! Mumbo jumbo. Don't worry about it. That's how he's decided to talk now, in backward riddles to throw us all off. Why not just ask for a long vacation on the company's expense? Dennis, I want you to help Seth. Thanks, Dennis. So, Charles, the ball is definitely in your court. Dennis exits. Faith confronts Charles. Look, I don't know if it's amnesia or just a dream I can't wake up from, but all I know is that I've worked at the corporation for 3 years testing flight simulators. Never had an incident other than the one with the cryogenic gas leak. Today's like any other day, and I get out of the simulator and everybody's talking crazy, but everybody's accusing me of talking crazy. It's not April 1st, so Faith, this is a good one at my expense.
But why did you refer to Seth as the chief of operations when both he and Dennis are custodial technicians? Why do you act as though you don't know that? And how that was an insult to Faith, our chief of operations?
Because before I got into the simulator the first time, Seth was the chief of operations. Faith was only second in command, and you were a custodial tech. All right, that had to have been a dream.
Custodial tech?
Nightmare, I can't wake up.
And before we shoved you back into the simulator just to shut you up, you engaged us in the most peculiar discourse. I remember he comes out demanding to see Seth, and after a long exchange among us all, he has this wave of euphoria exclaiming, and these are your exact words, no paraphrase, OMG, all black staff with a white dude at the bottom. I mean, Charles, what on earth? Why say a thing like that?
It's Charles. And what I said was, OMG, and all black staff with the white dude at the bottom, except Dennis, he's kinda in limbo. White, but sort of Mediterranean, yeah, and everybody is white. This isn't a joke. Come on. This has to be a dream. Nightmare.
Oh, he means opmill.
Neanderthal.
You too. If Faith is the only black person around here.
We have basically a minority staff, just about all white. And
you keep calling me white. I'm black.
Although Faith says nothing, her silence shows that she takes offense to Charles' remark.
And Faith, I believe Charles. We need that unit inspected if it's causing hallucinations and delusions.
Charles, and what did you mean by you people? And what is Raymond? How can he be that dark and be white? He's black, not elite.
Like a reverse Mediterranean. Is Neanderthal, stop it.
Look, Faith is interrupted by Raymond.
And that's only the opinion of some.
He says this to Faith and then to Charles. Charles, you're better than us because of your complexion. I will reiterate once again, hear it one more time. Your part of society doesn't understand us. We are fewer than you. Your people don't understand our right, our need to preserve our purity as the keepers of light. If we are less than pure, that distinction means nothing. It's a certainty that among us are people like Raymond, but if we are not vigilant, we'll have people among us who look like you and Dennis. Your people reflect too much light to be the keepers of light. There are people in Asurfa who are not black. The pure people of Agni want to be us, but they're white.
Wait, Surfa? How are you spelling Agni? I-N-D-I-A?
It is not prejudice nor hatred. It is preservation.
Oh, and Raymond is the black trash of the blacks because he's not black enough. People, I'm standing right here.
Hold on, Ray.
Excuse me.
Let's talk about Seth. What about Seth? Your ideal that he could be chief of operations is of course not unique. We all know that many like him, head of corporations and get voted to public office. Actually, Seth is brilliant and could actually run this organization, but I guess he never found that the right opportunity to develop his skills. What continues to persist in our society is an attitude toward people who have nothing of the preservers of light anywhere in their genealogy. Also, a sort of superstition also persists that anyone who throws off all light may be bad luck. It's unfortunate, but a fact.
Well, as Ray would say, coxybop. I would say coxybop. It's Raymond to you.
Well, it's really poppycock, Ray.
I wasn't referring to the pronunciation, but the concept, and once
Faith interrupts him. Shut up, you two. I've made a decision. We will have the unit inspected, and Charles, you will report to in-house clinic. I will order a full mental health screening and psychological assessment ASAP. But before you do, he's interrupted by Seth and Dennis, who enter, carrying a big flat box, 6 feet by 4 feet by 5 inches.
Can you believe this was inside another box? Wait till you see. Headquarters will auction it off for the week-long festival.
Dennis and Seth unwrap it to reveal an oil painting depicting an early cave drawing.
Cool, huh?
And Seth to Faith, smiling.
You know, one day my people are going to take over. Very amusing, Seth.
Oh, well, Shriek, please. You like it?
What is that?
Sudden spotlight appears on Josie and Felicity. Cut! What the heck? Felicity, you don't like it? Don't tell me you don't like it. Some of it I do. Enter Felicity and Josie to stage from the audience. Faith is back to her base character as she gathers things and readies to exit. Love to stay and share notes, but gotta run. Let me know what you decide on this vignette. Raymond, tell Craig hello and congrats. And Felicity, tell Bernie he's not off the hook. He owes me. Peace. All ad-libbed. Thanks, Faith. Thanks, Faith. Thanks, Faith. Thanks, Faith. Faith exits. Set goes back to base with the lighting change as the set transitions. Still on scene, Josie, Felicity, Raymond, Dennis, and Charles, who gets seated around a conference table. Seth nearby approaches. You know, this is a corrective takeoff on the contrast errors in the film White Man's Burden. Josie stands, walks towards Seth, but is addressing Dennis. And the caveman is supposed to be the indigenous culture of white people? Honey, come on, Seth. Seth approaching the table to get seated.
You two are gonna get divorced before you get married. But I would add that a more abrasive nature could have been applied through derogatory nicknames like my character referred to as Sunshine, a covert insult.
I agree. What do you think? Josie says nothing. Felicity, I love it. Charles,
me too.
Josie, I don't know.
Seth, you mentioned wanting to table this for a later discussion.
Yeah, says Charles. Good idea. Both the table it and the nickname. Felicity. Okay, futurists. Who's ready for new idea number 1? I am. Okay, ready? Here we go. But we left off on the fascists versus capitalists versus socialists.
Or was it the Second Amendment? People, I don't believe it was any of those.
Remember, we were sidestepping partisan politics. Felicity finishes Seth's thought. For a change, for creationists versus evolutionists.
Not nonpartisan. Any topic can be politicized.
So if you believe in God, you're of a certain political party?
Okay, let me just back up and explain.
The conversation goes on in an ad-lib format as the lighting changes and stage business makes a transition to signify the lapse of time, as our characters are in combination of discussion, getting up, going for coffee, returning to table, talking on cell, on laptop, and other forms of stage business relevant to scene, as hours turn into days. During this, and at some point, Josie and Dennis exit unnoticeably as the stage business continues. The lines of characters also indicate some passage of time during this lighting change, along with minor costume changes whose statements indicate change of seasons and years as well. And light change. Seth, looking at his cell phone. Stop, everybody. All others, a variation of lines. Huh? What? What's going on? Is that Dennis? Is that what's going on? Is that Dennis? What's happening? Seth, there's a long pause.
It's a boy, 6 pounds 1 ounce. Dennis says mother and baby doing fine. Can't believe it. Married 5 years?
All others variation of following lines. Yeah, wonderful news. Is 6 pounds big? Ask Josie when you see her. Felicity has a kind of vinegar in her voice that Charles notices.
What's that all about?
Seth,
whoa, and their second kid in 5 years. Okay, we're going to start on some new material.
End of the first act.